The #1 complaint in our inbox? Canceled flights and the fight for refunds.
I would love it if someone could help me.
The people versus the airline giants.
Why isn't Air Transat offering full refunds for flights canceled due to COVID-19 right now?
Well, simply because we can't.
An airline bailout is coming, but will they really make it easy for you to get your money back? The fight continues on your marketplace. The pandemic ruined travel plans for thousands of people. The airlines are taking a big financial hit, but so are many of you. We've got hundreds of emails with the same message: I want my money back. Now, nearly 9 months into the pandemic, the government says an airline industry bailout is in the works, with a catch. Industry Minister Navdeep Bains.
We want refunds for customers if the airline industry wants meaningful support.
Sounds like a win for passengers, but there's no guarantee. That's why the fight is still on.
The airfare was just about $4,000.
And the airfare was $1,122.
Our final price, I believe, was $9,300 for airfare and hotel.
Bill, are we rolling?
Yeah.
We're taking your fight for refunds straight to the top.
Why can't you give people their money back?
There's simply no way that that money can be paid back in just one installment.
And we've got our own expert standing by.
It's really hard to get the money back or money from the airline.
With so much up in the air, fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
We wanted someplace special.
First up, meet Lisa and Michael Marks.
It still looks so nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They planned a family trip to Antigua with their 2 adult children for late March to this resort.
Our trip was mostly for rest and relaxation.
But just a few weeks ahead of their departure, they get some bad news.
Please be advised that Sunwing flights scheduled to operate to Toronto, Antigua, Toronto between the dates of March 17th and April 9th, 2020 have been canceled.
At first, Sunwing offers a cash refund or travel credit, but then the company changes its tune. No more refund for their $9,300 trip.
We were very upset. We were really counting on the money coming back to us based on their initial offer.
I was laid off from work, my daughter was laid off, my son wasn't working, so Lisa was the only one that was still being employed.
Lisa Ross knows what it's like to be left high and dry. She had a European river cruise booked for April.
This was for my 60th birthday. Actually took money out of my investments to accommodate this. And I was all set. I thought, yeah, that would be nice, and to see the spring bulbs and, you know, Amsterdam and Holland's famous for those.
When the cruise company cancels, she receives a full refund, more than $3,300. But when Air Canada cancels, they offer a credit for her $1,100 round trip.
There's other businesses that are going under because of COVID, and they don't have the luxury of keeping people's money to work through their COVID and that.
There are lots of loopholes that you have to go through.
Chantal Chenoy's family was supposed to be on a flight to the City of Lights on March 13th.
We planned probably about 4 or 5 days at Disneyland area in Paris, and we were going to be in Paris in the city for a few nights as well.
Just 2 days before, the World Health Organization declares COVID-19 a pandemic. The Chenoys make a tough call and cancel. They're out $3,700 in airfare.
Yeah, I think I still get choked up thinking about it because we were looking forward to this trip for since at least Christmas time. The airline companies are getting help from the government. They're going to get bailed out again, probably. And I feel like it's the Canadians that have spent their hard-earned money that are not going to get bailed out from this.
Different travel plans with different airlines, but they've all got something in common. They're all offered vouchers they don't want. They want their money back.
If we could get our funds back and work with someone who could, try and guide us or give us some assistance.
It would be great to have an expert.
Like thousands of Canadians, they've been up against the airlines on their own for months with no luck. Meet Jacob Charbonneau, co-founder and CEO of FlightClaim.
First of all, we're a law firm, so we're based on the regulation and laws.
The fight to get refunds from the big guys has gotten so tough, people are paying companies to fight for them.
There's a lot of holes in the actual regulation that we're putting in place in Canada, so we're not as well protected as what we can see in other countries, in Europe, for example.
His company charges customers a percentage of the refund if successful. They've agreed to waive the fee for our passengers. Say hello to Jacob.
Hello, Jacob.
Hi. Well, it's quite an interesting situation here because they promise you a refund and they came back on their words and they say they won't refund you because they kind of make you a promise that they broke right after it.
So, Jacob, in this instance, you think you can try for the accommodation money as well?
Well, obviously, in that case, we'll ask for the full money and we'll see the answer from the airline.
It's exciting, though, to know that there's an option now, so.
A little bit of recourse.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take it.
Hope, maybe?
Yeah,
Exactly, for sure.
Let's check in with Lisa Ross. She wants her $1,100 back from Air Canada.
Lisa had a lovely trip to Europe planned, and it's my understanding, certainly, that if you are an EU destination and your flight's canceled, you do have a right to get your money back.
From Ontario to Europe, that segment of the flight, it will depend if it's a Canadian airline or a European Airlines. If you actually take a Canadian airline from Canada to Europe, it's only the other way, so from Europe to Canada, that the regulation could apply.
How does it feel knowing that it's not you versus the giant, it's you and a whole team?
Makes me feel wonderful and very much appreciative.
Next up, Shatal. Unlike the other two cases, she canceled her trip just as the pandemic was taking off.
Shatal, in your case, the government literally put out the travel advisories on the very day you were supposed to travel.
Once that travel advisory hit, that kind of solidified our decision that we should not be traveling outside of the country, as it's going to be difficult to come back home.
What's your advice to people who are in the same boat as Shatal? What should they do?
There was nothing that was put in place to protect those passengers that decided to follow the guideline and say, I won't travel because there's an official notice that say I shouldn't travel.
Jacob is sympathetic, but there's nothing he can do for Shatal. While he gets to work on the other two cases, we're taking all three cases straight to the airline. Our request for an interview doesn't fly with Air Canada and Sunwing, but Air Transat steps up. They're on board when it comes to answering your questions.
Why isn't Air Transat offering full refunds for flights canceled due to COVID-19 right now?
Well, simply because we can't.
Christophe Hennebel is the Vice President of Public Affairs.
Marc Garneau announcing there is a package in the works for airlines. What did you think when you saw that?
Well, we certainly welcome that announcement. As you know, many countries have helped their airlines for many months now, so we've been asking for something to come up. So we are certainly eager to speak with the government on that.
So just to be clear, if the government stipulates that refunds must be part of the bailout, i.e. if they give you money, you must pay customers back, would you agree to that?
We've got a certain number of vouchers out there. So if the package allows us to do that, we would certainly be happy to reimburse all those customers who want it.
So refunds for passengers might be coming. Even Shatal?
Now, I do want to ask you about one of the people who we've spoken to. She was supposed to fly to Paris with her family on March 13th, but she canceled. So she says not getting on that plane with her husband and kids was the right thing to do. What do you think?
Well, I think that was certainly a wise decision from her part.
Shatal has a message for Air Transat.
I think that it would be fair to return money that you're holding back from people.
We want to see what's inside of the package, but if the package allows us to refund all of our vouchers, that would include Ms. Chenoy's family for sure.
But remember, in the US and Europe, where airlines got their bailouts months ago, some passengers are still fighting for refunds.
We reach out to the other passengers' airlines. Sunwing says it isn't budging when it comes to giving the Marks family a refund, adding its policy remains unchanged. The company does say, though, it welcomes the support from the government, but it's waiting for more details. Air Canada says it won't refund Lisa Ross either, adding that offering credits is an acceptable alternative to refunds. The company does say it acknowledges with interest the government's plans for a package.
So for now, it's up to Jacob at FlightClaim.
Even with a bailout in the works being discussed, is your job over yet?
No, it's not. We still have to fight for many customers that have specific cases that are trying to get the money back and still get refused by the airline.
It's not over yet.
It is not over until it's over.
The details of the package will be worked out over the next couple of weeks. So until then, looks like everyone's refunds are on standby.